So this story begins with my parents. They got married at a fairly young age. My mom was 19, my dad was 20. My mom went to college for a little bit but didn't finish. My dad didn't go to college until later on. Uh, my dad enlisted in the Marine Corps. They both moved out to California to where he was stationed. He finished. I came along around the late 90s, and living was a little tough because he didn't really get paid that much. After everything was said and done with rent, bills, food, diapers, those essentials, money was a little scarce. So they had to come up with innovative ways, take initiative to provide for themselves, me, and my grandma that was living with them at the time, to make sure we had everything we needed and a roof overhead. So after my dad got out, we moved to Omaha, Nebraska, to where my mom was from. My grandparents were there. We had a pretty good network. I had a good childhood. We were a middle-class family, lived in the suburbs of Omaha. We're kind of surrounded by, cattle fields, cornfields, and then on the other side of the suburbs where was, downtown. So, kind of a good assortment with, the culture kind of throughout Omaha. But as I grew up, the neighborhood wasn't enough just to run around of. I wanted to be more independent. I wanted to go out ice skating with my friends. I wanted to go, eat ice cream during the summers with my friends and hang out with them. So money was being more prevalent. And being independent, wanting to go do things was being, more of a common thing with me and my friend group. And so with that, my parents here and there would give me, $10 here and there to, get food or whatever. But, quickly, they realized the more I was going to be independent, the more I needed money. So they kind of had it on me a little bit here and there, like, hey, you should get a job. You should take initiative with yourself and put in hard work to get that money and, learn about responsibility, learning about saving money and finances, and things along the lines of that. And, after being stubborn a little bit, I'm only 13, 14 years old. I shouldn't have a job. I gave in and I made a bunch of flyers with my best friend Taylor, and we walked around the entire neighborhood handing out flyers, putting them in doors with our phone numbers on it, hoping that someone would call and that we would, get some money so we could go get ice cream or whatever. And, eventually that took off. We had about 5 lawns for one summer. We both made about $20 a piece, so we had a pretty good thing going on. Eventually he went his own way, I went my own way with the business. And the next summer, I did it again. I put out flyers, took the initiative to get more money to save. Eventually, that second summer, I made enough money to where I opened up my own savings account, had my own checking account, and I was pretty good for a 15, 16-year-old. And when I was 16, 17, I was more involved with school, athletics. So I didn't really have time during the summer to mow as many lawns as I did. So I ended up having one client. His name was Al Bertassini, kind of an older guy. He saw me. He was like, hey, if you want to mow my lawn, that's fine. Just charge him whatever. So I charged him $20. And from, I think, believe it, when I was 16 all the way to about 18 years old, I mowed his lawn probably 2 times a week. And we probably spent, an hour or two to kind of, after I was done mowing, talking about life, taking initiative, responsibility. And he really hounded that with me. He said, if you put in hard work, the initiative, people are going to open up so many doors for you. And that's something I've learned through mowing lawns, that, if you put yourself out there, you're your own reflection of your own work. Doors will open for you. So that's something I that's really made me. That's made me find pride in my own work. And, I've seen, failed attempts at my own work where I don't put in enough effort, or I'm late, or I'm not punctual. These things are really important, or important values I found from mowing lawns and talking with Al and learning from his life experiences, his failures. Mowing lawns. If I didn't mow lawns, I wouldn't have met Al. I wouldn't have learned from his experiences, and I wouldn't have been exposed to his wisdom. So kind of putting yourself out there, networking, you'll learn a lot more about yourself and about the world than you would if you kind of just sat in your own bubble. So that's, a brief synopsis of mowing lawns, and I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you.